Now, the incident happened around midnight on Friday. 34-year-old Anthony James Castro, 34-year-old Stephen Patty Ryan Caplet, and 25-year-old Andrew Leroy Parham. Law enforcement officers responded to the Bighorn County Courthouse where reports of several inmates overpowered a jail employee and escaped. More than 30 male inmates and several female inmates were cleared from the jail and placed on school buses outside the county courthouse as authorities cleared and accounted for the prisoners. Now, the Yellowstone County SWAT team moved into the jail and began escorting inmates out to waiting buses. In the Bighorn County News in Hardin, initial reports indicated a corrections officer, dispatcher, and sheriff's deputy were assaulted and a number of inmates escaped from the jail. Now, here's what we know. Again, their names are Anthony James Castro, who is from Billings and was arrested for violent crimes, and Stephen Patty Ryan Caplet, Andrew Leroy Parham. We do not know whether or not the other two inmates are dangerous. However, the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office told Q2 that residents in Hardin should lock their doors and stay inside. We've been following developments throughout the night in Bighorn County, and Q2 has had crews out in Hardin for the last 18 hours. Q2's David J. begins our coverage tonight.
We had a chance to talk with some people around Hardin, and they're telling us that things are just a little bit different, a little bit quieter at times. Some of them are still scared, and some of them say that they're okay and fairly relaxed about how things are going today.
It's been quiet. I saw three guys over down here, that green roofed house right there. 3 officers there about an hour ago. I don't know what it was about. But they had 3 with sirens on right there in that green, with the green roof. Who knows?
I feel all right since I seen them cops.
You can tell right now that there isn't hardly anybody walking around or driving around. And usually Saturday's a busy day here, but not today.
What's your sense about the community in general?
I think they're very, very concerned, yeah. At least I would be, yeah.
A lot of them are scared. There were a lot of people that I've talked to. They go, oh, so it's serious stuff,
The safety of the community. So that's my concern right there. It's everything that will get back to normal instead of watching our backs, No,
nobody knows. I haven't heard anybody tell me anything where they are. Nobody seems to know exactly where they are.
As of early this afternoon, they haven't found the 3 men who escaped. And around town, as you walk around and drive around, a lot of the citizens are still asking the questions and wondering what the latest is on that. In Hardin, David J., MTN News.
Thank you, David. And reporting further on this, the safety of the Bighorn County Jail has been in question for quite some time, and Bighorn County officials have tried to get residents behind a remodel of the jail before, but failed. The biggest complaint, overcrowding with too many prisoners outnumbering guards. MTN Chief Investigative Reporter Andrea Lutz joins us now to break down what deficiencies the facility faces and if it could have contributed to this recent inmate breach.
Bighorn County leaders have repeatedly said their jail is too crowded. At any given time, up to 60 inmates could be housed in that jail, which really only has a capacity of 34, including last night when there was over 50 inmates. And officials have said before the crowded conditions cause security issues for both inmates and guards. I toured the Bighorn County Jail back in 2018. That's when Bighorn County leaders tried to get voters on board with a $12.3 million expansion to solve some of those safety concerns with the jail. You can see in this video we took during that tour a lack of space, exposed roofing with mesh wire, rusty walls, and steel objects protruding from walls, something officials feared inmates could use to make weapons. At that point, no new taxes were expected for the county residents if they said yes to the deal. Still, voters said no. At that time, then Bighorn County Undersheriff Mike Fuss told the Bighorn County News, quote, "If there's a fight in the middle of the night, I only have 1 officer on." The concern over the safety of the jail was there. Prior to that, Bighorn County tried to get voters yet again to support a jail expansion. That was in 2016. Again, that ultimately had failed too. Bighorn County has been dealing with this issue for quite some time. The jail isn't even up to code in terms of it not being up to industry jail standards. And the jail is often stretched well beyond its capacity with detainees, something Sheriff Big Hair stressed to local reporters all the way back in 2018. In Billings, I'm Andrea Lutz for MTN News.
Thank you, Andrea. When it comes to the issue of the Bighorn County Jail, some in Bighorn County have questioned why the nearby vacant Two Rivers Detention Center is not being used. Now, back in 2018, Bighorn County commissioners said that facility is too big and too expensive to operate. We will continue coverage. Check in on our website, ktvhu.com, and our Facebook page for our latest. Turning now to weather concerns, the roads seeming to clear around the Billings area, but take a look at this. According to the Rosebud County Sheriff's Office, Highway 212 was closed between Ashland and Lane Deer earlier today. There were 4 crashes involving 8 different vehicles and 1 hit and run. Over 50 big rigs spun out and were on the side of the road. And just around 5 o'clock today, MDT closed Mountain Highway 3 from Montana Highway 3, from Harlowton to Garneal and Garneal to Eddie's Corner is now closed. Now, MDT said the roads have been blowing and drifting high winds, ice, and snow. Turning now to weather with Rob Griggs. Wow, it's a little confusing because I too thought the roads were clearing, but
right.
Wow, there's some major concern out there.
Yeah, we've got more snow moving in. The wind is kicked up again as another passing system is moving through, and that's really creating some havoc out there. It's going to be one of those nights we need to be extra careful. Let me show you right now across the Billings area. We've got, of course, some blowing snow in and around the region. The camera moving around quite a little bit with these gusts up to 39 miles an hour, 34 degrees, so that's not bad. Gusty winds from Cut Bank all the way down to the southeast, Great Falls, Lewistown, Livingston, Billings, all of those areas getting plenty of it. You can see on the satellite radar composite, still we have some snow showers falling, and there's some more on the way. As you look up toward the northwest of Billings, we do have a pretty good chance down in central, southeast Montana, northern Wyoming to pick up some snow. Now for the Billings area tonight in particular, we've got a low of 19, but here's the deal. With a 90% chance of snow, we may only pick up an inch, but with those north winds 15 to 25 miles an hour, you can expect blowing snow, and the roads in the area are terrible. We'll give you all the details as well as all the watches and warnings with the forecast in just a little bit. Zoe?
All right, thanks so much, Rob. One demographic who has been loving the snow, the skiers and snowboarders in our area over at Red Lodge Mountain, over 3 feet of snow in the past week has given people plenty to ride on. Heavy traffic to the ski area this morning did force mountain staff to close the main road to the resort, and Q2's Mitch Laggy spoke with Red Lodge staff today and joins us now with more on the Powder Day.
Well, Zoe, the Red Lodge management told me snow conditions are at an all-time high for the season thus far. The snow is soft and deep, meaning people came up in droves today. Starting around 8:45 a.m., the mountain picked up 3 inches of snow in about an hour, making the drive up pretty treacherous. Mountain staff closed Ski Run Road, the main dirt road up to the Red Lodge parking lot, around 11 a.m. today. As both parking lots were full, people were parked about a mile and a half away from the main lot on the side of Ski Run Road. Red Lodge staff did not let any more people up to leave enough room for emergency services to drive up if needed. People heading up to the mountain tomorrow should bring the right vehicle for the trip.
Yeah, I mean, the conditions are probably, they're all time for this season so far. I mean, the snow's soft and it's deep, and who wouldn't want to be up there on a day like today? We're going to have a great day tomorrow, and anybody that comes up should come up in a all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive vehicle. We had several people get stuck today trying to come up in a front-wheel drive car with limited clearance. So highly recommend all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive.
And that's some smart advice. Another tip, carpool with your friends to save on gas and parking spaces. Weimar said the first 100 or so carpool cars get preferred parking near the main lodge. Zoe?
Good to know. Thank you, Mitch. Well, stay with us. More to come on the 5:30 news. After the break, cornhole and beers. It's going down at the Pavilion today, and we toss that to you coming up. Later in sports, a huge day on the wrestling mats as we find out who qualifies for state. Highlights on the way.
You're watching MTN News with Zoe Zandora, Storm Tracker weather with Rob Griggs, and sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 5:30 news on Q2, Montana's news leader.